And now over to Nagaland. What does the youth really want from their candidates? My colleague Vedant finds out the issues that the youth have based their votes on. Listen in.
Welcome to this very special broadcast from the beautiful capital Kohima here in Nagaland. I come to you from the gorgeous Secretariat. I'm joined by a young crowd here, all students, youngsters from colleges and schools, and also we are joined by two of the strongest candidates of the capital. We have Mr. Hume from the NDTV BJP Alliance and Mr. Mishenlo from the Congress. So today basically our aim is to actually bring to you voices of youngsters from Nagaland, because you know the mainstream media often ignores these very critical voices of in states like Nagaland. Of course, we've been reporting from Tripura and Meghalaya as well, and our aim is for these youngsters to actually raise their questions and ask their candidates here on NDTV. So of course, before going to the candidates who've been speaking a lot in their rallies and press conferences, let me get in a word from these youngsters here. So what's your name?
My name is Sevi.
Your name is?
Sevi.
Sevi. So, as you voted as well, I could
Yes.
see your the mark on your
Yes.
finger. So, as a college student, what is the biggest issue? What's the core issue on which you voted on?
Well, firstly, the main issue, if I were to speak on youths, for youths, it's unemployment.
Right.
Also, there is, if we talk about the government again, there is backdoor appointments, which are indeed becoming a hassle for us as educated people to get employed.
Right.
So that, if I were to highlight one, that would be one of the prominent
Issues would be
yes.
unemployment. That's a very important point you're raising, and let me take this to the candidate from the NDTV BJP Alliance. Of course, your alliance is looking quite strong. You've talked about various issues as well, including the Naga political issue. But this college student here, Sivi, she raised a very important point that for them, for the youth, the biggest issue is unemployment and backdoor entries as far as government jobs is concerned. What would you do to tackle that?
Of course, this unemployment is a global phenomenon, and of course, recessions are happening all over the world. And especially if you look at Nagaland, Nagaland people are very skillful people. You see, it's not just government employment, and of course, our BJP NDTV alliance, we have set records clear. We have set up, instituted the NSSB. So there, we are also trying to curb this corruption. So in our best possible way, we are also trying to tackle this issue of backdoor unemployment.
Right.
So I think we have put the proper institutional reforms into place.
In place. Right. So let me take this to Mr. Mishenlo as well. See, the unemployment rate in Nagaland is well above the national average. And here, of course, as she mentioned, unemployment is one of the most frustrating issues for youngsters. Yeah. What would you do that if you voted to tackle that if you voted to power?
Yeah, till today, even if I'm not in power, I've been fighting against this backdoor appointment, and I've always tried my best to throw away this backdoor appointment and let the deserving people get the job through exam. That is
Right.
what we have been doing.
Right. Okay. So are you satisfied with that answer?
Yes, sir.
You are? Okay. Hi, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Lancy.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you like to ask your candidates here? What is the core issue for you as a voter?
For me as a voter, the core issue at present is the lack of institutions,
Right.
Particularly medical institutions and engineering institutions.
Right.
We know that the Kohima Medical College is being set up. However, we find that it's still ongoing.
Right.
So and there is no talk about setting up engineering institutes as well.
That's a very significant point. Any of you, I'm sure, do you also have the same question as her? Lack of institutions here in Nagaland. I'm sure a lot of you as well.
Yes, sir.
So you would also like to see maybe medical institutions, engineering institutions being set up here.
Yes, sir, probably.
Okay, so that's an important point being raised here by these students. Lack of institutions, and of course Nagaland is still without a medical college. So what are you going to do about that? Are you planning to set up world-class institutions here?
We have put up 2 colleges in place, and of course the corpus which we get from the center, that's important to us. So we have the support of the government, and BJP NDTV alliance, I think that will bring more.
So of course the double engine plank is what you're playing here. Yeah. So what do you have to say about that? That Nagaland, is still without a medical college. It's quite, it's actually quite shameful.
Of course, very true. In fact, I'm happy that they are raising the issues which I always used to talk about.
Right.
See, this medical college, I think it was sanctioned back in 2004.
Right.
And the government was saying, I hope sir will not mind, because it is NDTV government now, so we are saying that they will start the medical college starting 2023. But for me, I feel it's something impossible. Why? Because infrastructure is not completed. At the same time, without the teachers or without the professors, how will the medical college run?
Right. So the infrastructure that is necessary for a medical college to be set up, that is not in place. That's what they're saying. So let me come to you guys. What would you like to ask your candidate?
Okay, hello, my name is Ning Sanyukire from Science College.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, it is very prevalent about the traffic jams in Kohima, and also there's so many parallel parkings and double parkings, and there are people with who buys a lot of cars without having their actual garage. So
Right.
do you plan on making some policies regarding those, like
Right.
building infrastructures where there can be parking spaces so that we can eliminate this traffic jams?
Very interesting. So they're saying, they talk about double parking. So of course, the larger question I think really is about roads as well, because the approach roads in Nagaland, of course, that has been a major issue as well, and very few political parties actually talk about changing roads, because roads really are the face of a state.
Yeah, when it comes to this traffic jam, because of that, our offices functioning is also delaying. And so many, the business sector is disturbed because of traffic
So, but
jam.
what would you do about it?
See, what I'm saying is, this KMC has to come out with some strict rules and regulation how to overcome this traffic jam.
Right.
Or I have said this in some of the interviews also. We have this this army camp in the middle of our capital.
Right.
So if that can be shifted to some other place, and if we use it for town expansion, I think the traffics will be smoother than what it is today.
Right. Do you agree with your friend here?
I fully agree. I think militarization of the city, that's also another
Important
huge
issue,
for
yeah.
a hamlet city like Kohima.
Right.
And as far as road transportation, you see, I'm very happy because youngsters today are talking about public utilities.
Right.
You see. So that was not there. The city is not planned, you see.
Right.
So as the city expands, I think it's important that, and of course we need to understand how private-public partnership takes place here. So
Very
I think,
important point.
yeah, lots of impediments, but of course we are looking forward to that. Yeah.
Right. Okay, let me go across to some boys also. The girls have been raising very important issues. In fact, what is interesting about Nagaland is that women voters always outnumber men voters. So what would you like to ask your candidate?
Hello everyone, my name is Viputo Yapto from Kohima Science College. The questions that I would like to ask the candidates or whoever the parties who is going to form the government, the next government, is, as a youngster, and I think this is not only important for a youngster, but the whole Naga society as a general, is about this Naga issue.
Yeah.
Naga issue is something which when we read about in the articles or the candidates, they always say, or the
They will
politicians,
solve it.
Yeah, they say that this is hampering the developments of the state. So I would like to ask the next government, whoever is going to be, which party is going to be, how effectively are they going to facilitate the talk process? Because I feel like that, of course there are many stakeholders into this issue, but the Nagaland legislative assemblies or the politicians who are going to come forward, I feel like, in my opinion, I believe that they are the ones who are really representing the state, because they get elected through the people's consent.
Right. It's a very important issue and very articulately put by this young man here. How are you going to effectively resolve the Naga political issue in just 2 lines?
I'm glad that the young man pointed out that. You see, the political issue is also important, but politicians are no longer young. So I think it's important that that is also set as a priority, but I think it's important that the desires and wishes of the youngsters are also repackaged as part of the priority.
Right. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, for me, this Nagas, I am here as a politician today. Mane, this is what I always say, I want to be a leader, not a politician who lies. So clearly, I would like to mention, I don't know, means I will not say something which I don't know. The reason why I'm entering politics is it's all about the things that they have mentioned, these employment things or the lack of facilities that we have in our state. So
Right.
that compelled me to be in the system.
So you are claiming to represent them, but let me go back to the youngsters. So give me one word each and one quality that you would want your candidates to have. One quality, or what would you like to see in your candidates? Very quickly.
I want my candidate to be a listener.
A listener, very good. And what about you?
I want my ruling candidate to be respectful to everyone.
Respectful to everyone. Yes. What about you?
Yeah, to be men of their words.
Men of their words. What about
I
you?
want my candidates to be honest.
Honest. What about you?
More in action than words.
More in action than words. What about you?
For me, I want them to be, equipped with whatever they have said, so that
Right.
it can be
Implemented
Yeah,
on the ground. What about you? Last word to you.
I want our candidate to be more accountable and more transparent in whatever they do.
Right. So absolutely amazing voices here. All of them youngsters saying that they want their candidates to be more accountable, more transparent, good listeners. So of course, these are the voices that really need to come forward, not the ones we hear, on our television screens with press conferences and rallies. So of course, the 2nd of March, the fate of this state in the far end of India will be decided, and of course it will have a huge impact in the battle of 2024 as well. So of course all eyes now on the 2nd of March. In Kohima with camera person Sanjay Chakravarti, Vedant for NDTV.